barbershop conversation, guys. Feel free to hit the subscribe button. I want to thank one of my subscribers for reaching out to me and sending me the video. Michael Montero did. And I just want to respond to it in a clear and concise manner. But I just want to clear some stuff up about he said, and then I'll get into why I did my video. He says that first he started off, his premise was I approached him and shook his hand about an idea for a show. I absolutely did. You know, I'm a producer, right? So I have my producer's hat on. He's pretty young and contemporary. I think we fit the same demographic, right? And I was thinking of ESPN's First Take, and I know people have a fear of being confrontational, right? Or attacking the truth. So I approached him. I said, you and I should do a show because I don't agree with much of what you say. And I'm quoting myself. I said, I don't agree with much of what you talk about, but you and I should do a show entitled, quote unquote, Boxing in Black and White. And I thought it would do good on YouTube, right? You have a contemporary looking white man, you know, it fits the description. If you close your eyes and you look at a white man, right? 6'5", blue eyes, you know, kind of statuesque. It just makes sense. And you have, you know, the educated black man who grew up in the streets and who's formally educated now and who's outdid his own personal goals. It just makes sense, right? Kind of like Stephen A. Smith and Skip Bayless, right? But just a better looking version of them too, right? I would say. And then he went on to say, so that's absolutely true, but I wasn't coming at him trying to create a project. And I'm trying to find a lane in boxing where it can be substantial. You know, I'm a producer, director. It makes sense. Then he went on to say, I'm in the reality show business. No, a little bit better than that, Mike. Just a little bit better. I'm actually an award-winning producer who's actually up for an Emmy. September 18th in New York City, I'm up for an Emmy, right? I've produced, I was fortunate enough to produce Floyd Mayweather's first lead role in a documentary form. It's entitled In Your Corner. Feel free to Google it. So I just want to quote unquote make myself legit, right? You know, but anyhow, I'm formally educated, got a college degrees, you know, I've run, I'm an author, 3-time author, etc., etc. So he tried to belittle me. He tried to be like his tenor, right? He tried to deliver his message in a compassionate to get some empathy from his viewers, right? Which doesn't work, right? That's like acting 101, right? So anyhow, moving forward, let's talk about why I did the video and my purpose of doing it. Okay, no, before I get there, he said he'll meet me at the fights, right? Which is perfectly fine. And part two to that is I consider myself a man of valor, character. I'm pretty straightforward. You know, I'm ultimately fearless, right? I would never attack a man's woman. So he's trying to slant it to create compassion, to create a compelling story, right? To galvanize his team, right? We're going to do this. Team on 3, right? It's none of that. I don't know his girl, and I would never, ever defame a woman. I'm a man. I would never, ever defame a woman. I'm not built that way. I will never take responsibility for what someone else did. So for him to try and put that on me is pretty classless. It's actually clever. It's something Donald Trump would do, right? Right? To say, your subscribers said they're going to attack my girl, so you did it. Okay. But just to solve that issue, I'll say this. I won't talk to you in public. I don't want to talk to you in public. I will gladly ignore you in public. Okay? And the reason for that is one black man in the presence of 100, because media is predominantly white, right? Let's just be clear, right? Well, it may not be because it's a Chocolatito fight, so it may not be. I'm assuming that I'm covering that fight, but I may or may not come because it's college football and it's 2 fights in one day, and I think I'm gonna go to a fight party, so I'm uncertain on that. But anyhow, I'm gonna ignore you because I told you I will only talk to you on camera. That is it, because I know I can outwit you on camera and expose you. Me talking to you one-on-one proves nothing. You're going to walk away disliking me, and I'm going to walk away disliking you. Okay? Plain and simple. My idea for the show was genius, because it would have led us to this, and it would have all made sense. And part 2 to that, if you want to meet me at the fights, okay, I am unafraid of you, Mike, but I will tell you this. I will gladly spar you, but under these conditions. I go through Steve Kim and Doug Fisher first. I have no problem, because if I just fight you, then I can't go. I want the whole UCN crew. I don't know the other guy too well. He's probably the only guy that disagrees with you sometimes when I used to subscribe to your channel. But so that's it. Minimum 4 rounds. I would love to go 8 rounds with all 3 of y'all. We can do with consecutive. We can do it October 1st, November 1st, and I get you, Mike, December 1st. That gives you 3 months to train for the fight. Now you have every measurable advantage. I'm 5'7", 160 pounds. I might even come into the fight 154, 153 pounds. So you will probably have a 70-pound, minimum 70-pound weight advantage on me, and probably 10 inches to a foot advantage on me. Makes sense, right? I will have, if Vegas was doing that fight, I would have Buster Douglas odds, right? Because you said you want to see me at the fight. I'm not going to fight you in person. In public without, because I'm literally a pacifist by nature. I don't believe in violence. All right, I don't condone it, but because this is boxing, I will gladly spar you. And you can go 100. You don't have to hold your punches back. You don't have to do none of that. For real, you don't have to do none of that. You can throw that right hand as hard as you want at me. I don't mind, don't care. And that goes for Steve Kim and Doug Fisher. Feel free. Now moving on to why I did that video. You said, and why this all started. I went up to Doug Fisher, looked him square in the eye, and talked to him for 30 minutes. And I said, I completely disagree with what you said about the demographic. And part 2 to that, you got some guy, you Mike, saying nigga this, nigga that, nigga this, nigga that, paraphrasing what a group of people say at fights, right? In order to use, and when you ever use, this is journalism 101, guys. Whenever you use inflammatory comments, you must have a primary source. You can't say, well, I live in South Central and I hear black people say nigga this, nigga that, or Mexicans say nigga this, nigga that. So in a casual sense, no, not in the forum in which we work. You can't do that, right? It's like saying, if you go to an NFL game or an NBA game, well, I heard Kevin Durant use the word nigga before he made the game-winning basket. It doesn't make sense. You can't do that. Like I know I'm comparing apples and oranges, but it just doesn't make sense. So yes, Mike, I'm calling you a racist, a bigot. Anyone who calls Steve Kim their mentor and sits beside him and confirms what he says is a racist. I've told Doug Fisher, Steve Kim is a racist. I've told it to Doug Fisher's face. And I will I'm never talking to probably you guys ever again, because we will never agree on. We will agree only on one thing. We don't like each other, and it's pointless for us to expunge energy in one another. It just makes no sense. Okay, I will only talk to the 3 of y'all on camera, and it probably will never happen. Right? It probably will never happen. So with that being said, so that's my invitation to you. Oh yeah, and this other point that I wanted to make. I'm sorry, I'm just doing this and as it comes to me. He said that he wasn't making inflammatory racial comments when talking about war. But let's be clear. See, this is when you get into semantics. See, when you're dealing with an educated man, whether you're black, white, it just happens to me that I'm black and I'm well educated, well traveled. I'm on my 3rd passport, well traveled, well educated, uberly successful. He tries to get us on semantics, because he said Andre Ward fans, but he said the British fans, the Puerto Rican fans, the Mexican fans. Now, see the semantics in that? If you're not talking about race, creed, or color, you would have said Canelo fans, Felix Trinidad fans, Ricky Hatton fans. You guys get what I'm saying? So it is about race. I called him out on it, and now he's retreading, trying to lose you in translation by out-talking your ear, right? That's what salesmen do. They try and out-talk your ear until you give in, right? That's why salesmen typically invite you down to their office because they know once they get you in office, it's hard for you to tell them no on their home turf. And that's just plain stuff. He's a salesman. He's not a real journalist. I don't consider him a real journalist because a journalist doesn't throw around the word nigga without a primary source. And a person doesn't alienate a portion of the boxing fans. They call them the demographic. Demographic is a synonym for young, dumb, black fans. That's what the synonym is. Doug Fisher said it to my face. He said the young, black fans that support Floyd Mayweather is what created the demographic. And that's what he's saying. Doug Fisher told me this to my face. Okay? So let's be clear. We will call a spade a spade. Okay? Now, he went very extreme talking about this is the hate on YouTube is what caused dead police officers in Texas. Now, if this isn't a Donald Trump ploy, I don't know what is. You're not going to trick me or get me to take the bait, right? Get me to respond to you and say something hellacious. No, I've said it. There's two ways for us to talk. On camera or in the ring. But you have to be last. I'm not afraid of you. I just want to go through all three of y'all. That's it. That's just plain and simple. I will gladly spar y'all. I have no problem sparring y'all. All right, so you can set it up. I'll take Steve Kim October 1st, Doug Fisher November 1st, and you December 1st. That's it. And that's about as plain as it can be. We can even go on we can go on the undercard somewhere. We can get sanctioned. No, I'm joking. But yeah, that's it, man. And he's trying to trick us with semantics. You know what I mean? He's backpedaling. He's using Donald Trump actions to try and trick us. No, you can't trick me. You can't trick me. I'm well educated, man. I write for a living, right? Right? As you know, I write for a living. I talked about Steve Kim in one of my articles. He actually called my editor and got mad that my editor allowed me to print it, allowed it to go to print. So, I mean, we'll just call this my job. I am in black media, black press. My job is to report black news. And when a white man of the media throws the word nigger around, I have to call him out on it. He didn't quote me. He quoted the quote unquote demographic at the fights. Okay, so that's like saying I don't know this, but I've been fortunate enough. I've never, well, maybe when I was young, but I've never sat in the stands for a fight. I'm not making myself above or bigger or better than any one of you guys. I'm just saying I'm blessed. You know, I never take for granted I get to cover the fight. It's like me saying, well, the Latin fans say puto this, puto that, mayate this. No, I don't bleed into that shit. You guys understand what I'm saying? The fact of the matter is, you used an insidious comment on one of your videos and my ears perked up. Yes, I shook your hand prior to that because I thought you were my contemporary. That's why I approached you for the show. I didn't approach you in need. Let's be clear, Mike. I didn't approach you in need. All right. I've done very well for myself, and you know this. I believe you've seen my house on wheels that I drive to the fight. So it's not even about that. All right. And so that's where I'm at. I got one strike, so I got to keep this less than 15 minutes for a picture that I used some time ago. And feel free to I'm not calling YouTube that you use my video. Feel free. I'm not that tedious, so don't be alarmed. But I'm glad you responded, and that's my stance. I'm not talking to you unless it's on camera. I don't respect you at all. Yes, I'm an idiot. I received that. I believe you to be an idiot. I believe you three to be a bigot. Larry, Moe, and Curly. I believe y'all three to be blasphemous. Just disrespectful. How can you hate Floyd Mayweather and Andre Ward? Characters are completely opposite. Opposite ends of the spectrum. Opposite ends of the rainbow. It doesn't make sense. So Barbershop Conversations, feel free to hit the subscribe button. And I don't even believe in violence, but I mean, this is a boxer. I'll gladly spar you, Mike. No big deal. I'll gladly spar Steve Kim and Doug Fisher. No big deal. I'm not one for fighting in the streets and getting rid of that, but I mean, that's what it's. So Barbershop Conversation, guys. Feel free to hit the subscribe button. and I'll talk to you guys soon. Peace.